Hello, Western Civ class. Welcome to week 4. my throat and my voice still, we're in hazardous air quality still. I am currently very safe, but just the air is really bad. And I already covered the fires in the last announcement. It's just we're all just trying to do our best to get through this phase. So anyways, I hope all of you are doing all right. So I'm just going to be really brief on this week. We're covering Alexander the Great and Hellenization, and it's a very fascinating topic, I think. And we are really starting to get a lot more understanding about the foundations of Western civilization and the reach that the culture of Western civilization's foundation is based on has on the world. There we go. A little brain fart. Or maybe it's just ash in my skull. And so I hope that you enjoy this section and think about it. And I hope it's also helping you maybe to understand the way that the Greek language and Greek culture spread throughout so many places and puts in the context how it would be so influential. And then once we go over Rome and then we get the idea of Greco-Roman culture, we just really will have that solid foundation of understanding about the what Western civilization is based off of. And I always try to remind everybody of this, and I'm just going to pause for a moment. And it's the one thing that I want you to focus on that I think is interesting. Those of us that are of European descent, white European descent, okay, which are viewed visually as representatives of Western culture traditionally. So far, how much have we talked about Europe and the foundations? It really doesn't happen until we get into Rome, right? And Rome is still really more a part of the Mediterranean world. So we're talking about ancient Middle East, Africa, / Egypt, and then the Mediterranean world, which gets incorporated into Europe, but it's not Western Europe. It's certainly not Northern Europe. Pretty far away from the UK, the United Kingdom, the British Isles, that many of us have ancestors that come from. So Western civilization is already starting off with its foundations in places that are not very Western, not European white. You get what I'm saying? Greece, we're talking about Greece and Alexander the Great, but it's again, my point is that what I'm saying is that if you look at a map and you're looking at geography, to this day, Greece and Italy is a part of the Western world, but within the Western world, there's a lot of variables, and I think you get what I'm saying. It's what I like to do as the historian is to make us realize that every culture is already based on various cultures from the get-go, and nobody can really escape this, and a lot of nationalists in various countries really have a hard time with this. A place like Japan was able to preserve its own culture for a long time and isolate itself. But you know what? They still were heavily influenced by China. Almost all of their upper echelons, their writing, everything. And China has its own influences that it gets from other cultures. Now, no matter what you do, no matter who you are, your society is built on a lot of various elements. Multiculturalism is already embedded in your culture, is my whole point, at some point, if you're going to really break things down into a historical reality. And I think that's really important to focus on right now, because in this world, nationalism is on the rise, and I'm not going to critique all forms of nationalism, but there is a kind of mythic nationalism that always wants to make your people a particular separate group, and that you have something to defend that somebody else is going to mess up, as if you have this pure thing going on. And the results can be negative. We studied this in World War II. We know about this, right? So just something to keep in mind. And that's all I'm going to have to say on that anymore. Right now, again, we are all suffering together in the Western Hemisphere. So I hope that's uniting us and getting us to take care of each other and to get through this set of events. And I'll be in touch.